Hey guys, Ashwin Sundar here from Technology Jog, back with another not an unboxing video, and today we are gonna not unbox the POCO X3. Now, this is a new series of videos I've started to give you a real world experience. When you purchase a phone and start using it, there are some things you come across that really excite you, that really surprise you, because you may not have expected some feature to be that good. And at the same time, obviously, you also come across certain things that kind of disappoint you. So, the first few things that you notice on the phone when you use it for the first 24 to 48 hours, that's the kind of experience that I'm trying to give you here through this series of videos. So let's get started. We have the POCO X3. Now, this was not the most anticipated phone of the year or anything. There wasn't even too much hype surrounding the phone before launch. But the moment it launched, it turned a lot of heads. To be precise, it was that precise moment when POCO announced the price. $16,999 for the 6GB RAM 64GB variant. That's crazy good, and we are gonna see why it's crazy good. You know what else is crazy good? Tempered glasses from our sponsor, Glazed Ink. What's special about Glazed Ink is that they have actual 2.5D curved glass along the edges, so the entire screen is covered and protected. No air bubbles or awkward gaps, which you might get from installing any other tempered glass in the market. Glazed Ink also has tempered glasses for a lot of other phones as well, including the Realme 7 Pro, Galaxy M51 and so on. So link in the description. Just make sure you use the promo code TJOG to get 10% discount. It's not like this is POCO X2 plus additional features. There are also some things that have been downgraded. Like the very first thing that you notice once you open the box, the design is a downgrade. The back panel is made of plastic. Obviously, I knew it's plastic even before I received the phone, but after I received it, it kind of became a different story because this is a really cheap panel. There is even a bit of a gap between the panel and the internals. I could feel it by just pressing it, and you could probably say from how it sounds, how cheap the panel is. So that's the thing about plastic panels. Some phones with plastic are really good. They've been built really well. For example, the Realme X3, the Realme, even the 7 and 7 Pro are excellent. But on the other hand, phones like this and the Galaxy M51 have really cheap panels. The POCO X2, if you remember, had a Gorilla Glass 5 back panel. So this is clearly a huge downgrade. The design is also something I'm personally not impressed with. Not a fan of this huge logo. I mean, the branding, it kind of doesn't suit the design language in my opinion. I don't know, I'm not really liking this pattern, and the camera array also looks equally bad to me. The panel is also prone to fingerprints and smudges. That's also worth noting. Anyway, there is a good chance most of these things don't matter to most people because most people use a case anyway, and in that case, the cheaper back panel is fine. On the flip side, we have certain good things as well. The frame is aluminum. We have Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, and it has IP53 certification for water and dust resistance. It's barely splash resistance, but still, it's something. Now, I've been using this for about a day and a half, and initial impressions, this feels quite heavy. The moment I picked it up, I felt this was slightly heavier than the POCO X2, but in reality, this is actually a lot heavier than the POCO X2. It's 225 grams. For reference, the ROG Phone 3 is 240 grams, and that's a gaming flagship phone with a ton of features. Now, 225 grams is definitely unacceptable, but for what it's worth, it actually feels like more like 210 to 215 grams. Like I said, it feels only slightly heavier than the POCO X2. Like, I've been using this for the past 2 days. It's okay, it's still quite heavy. I don't really like it. I've said it multiple times, phones should not weigh more than 200 grams no matter what. One more thing, it's kind of weird that the side fingerprint scanner is not as fast as it was on the POCO X2 or even the Redmi Note 9 Pro. I mean, it's not slow by any means. There's just a slight, a 1 second delay, maybe a half a second delay, maybe. Just a minor thing probably will be fixed in an update. Now, although I had a very bad impression of the phone the moment I looked at the back panel, it just changed completely when I looked at the display. It looks beautiful. Yes, it is an LCD display. I'm not saying it is as good as Samsung Super AMOLED Plus display or anything, but it's really, really good. Okay, here's a quick display comparison between the POCO X3 and the Galaxy M51. You tell me in the comment section if you can notice a huge difference. The colors and contrast are excellent. It can play HDR videos on YouTube and those videos look fantastic as well. And thankfully it has Widevine L1 certification and it can play full HD videos on streaming apps like Netflix, Prime Video and so on. And as you may already know, the flagship feature of the phone is the 120Hz refresh rate and 240Hz touch sampling rate. Now when I used the Poco X2, which also had a 120Hz display, it was kind of laggy. It kept stuttering here and there, just scrolling through the UI, navigating in the UI itself was not a great experience. I found myself using the display at 60Hz most of the time. I spoke about it in my Poco X2 review, you can check it out. I had used the Chinese variant of the Poco X2, not the Indian variant. I did not get the Indian variant on time. So I asked one of my friends, he said there were a few frame drops here and there, but it wasn't as bad as the Chinese variant. Now, how about things on the Poco X3? It's still not perfect, but it's really good, and really good is good enough for a phone under 20,000 rupees. I mean, there is literally no other phone under 20k with a 120Hz display. Here and there, I could notice some lag and I was able to get it on cam as well, as you can see. But overall, it feels fine. Navigating through the user interface and scrolling on apps like Twitter, Instagram, most of the time it feels absolutely fine. The improvement could be because of the new Snapdragon 732G chip, probably, but the 732G is not actually a huge upgrade from the 730G. It's just a slightly overclocked version of the 730G. Anyway, on the performance front, the chip will do its job. I'm pretty sure of that. So far, I've played a couple of games and they were extremely smooth. The gameplay was fantastic. Of course, I'll do a lot more testing over the next few weeks. And opening apps were also reasonably fast thanks to the UFS 2.1 storage. And we've got a hybrid SIM slot. Let's move on to the camera setup. Now, this is technically on paper a downgrade from the Poco X2. The Poco X2 had the IMX686 sensor. This one has the IMX682. I'm still not very sure what is the exact difference between 686 and 682. But last year, if you remember, we had the IMX586 sensor and the 582 sensor. And there was pretty much no difference between the two. The 586 supported 4K at 60 FPS and the 582 supported 4K at up to 30 FPS. And anyway, phones under 20,000 rupees cannot shoot 4K videos at 60 FPS. So anyway, there was no real use for the 586 sensor under 20,000 rupees. So if this is a similar case, then I think 682 is absolutely fine. One clear upgrade is the ultra-wide angle camera from 8 megapixels to 13 megapixels on the Poco X3. We've also got a 2 megapixel macro camera and a 2 megapixel depth sensor. On the front, we have a cutout for the 20 megapixel selfie camera. Now guys, this is the most disappointing thing about the Poco X3. They removed the front depth sensor. Now, how will I click portrait images? I mean, it's impossible to click portrait photos without the depth sensor. Okay, just in case you didn't get it, I was being sarcastic. Now, apart from these changes on the hardware side, we also have some pretty exciting things on the camera app itself. I clicked on this more button and then I was surprised to see like so many things popping up like this. There are like so many cool different features, including the clone feature where you can just clone yourself. We've got a dedicated long exposure mode for low light photography, and of course there's a night mode, a 64 megapixel mode. So in the past 1.5 days, I spent time clicking some pictures and going through some of these modes, and my favorite so far is the vlog mode. Using this, you can instantly create a cool vlog kind of video, you know, with background music, with nice transitions, and you don't have to do any of the work. There are ready-made templates over here which do all the work for you. There are 7 templates in total, and tapping on any of them will just show the preview. And here you're supposed to start shooting the videos. Final video gets processed instantly and the results look cool. Of course, whether it looks cool or not also depends on your creativity, but most of the creative work is done by the phone itself. I really see this being used a lot by people, you know, for Instagram stories and whatnot. And there's also a front and back mode using which you can record videos using both the front and the rear cameras. cool, right? I think I've seen this on some Samsung phones. Battery. There's a 6000 mAh battery along with 33 watt fast charging. Now this is a huge upgrade from the 4500 mAh battery on the Poco X2, and generally itself I don't think there is any Xiaomi or Poco or Redmi phone under 20,000 rupees with more than 5000 mAh battery. So clearly Poco just wanted to go all guns blazing on this one. And about charging, I think it takes about 1 hour 10 minutes or 1 hour 15 minutes to get charged from 0 to 100. Now personally I didn't get the chance to test that yet. However, this afternoon I put it on charge when it was at 35% I guess, and it took about 50 minutes to reach around 92%. That's not bad at all. Here's the thing, yes, there are other phones with super fast charging, 50 watts, 65 watts. Take the Narzo 20 Pro for example. It can charge from 0 to 100 in just around 30 minutes. But it has only a 4500 mAh battery. This one has 6000 mAh battery and it can charge from 0 to 60% in the same 30 minutes time. Now, of course, if you take the absolute figures, the difference is gonna look very huge. But in reality, in case of the Narzo 20 Pro, it takes 30 minutes to charge 4500 mAh. And in this case, it takes 30 minutes to charge 60% of 6000 mAh. So that means 3600 mAh. So if you look at it that way, it's not that big of a difference. And honestly speaking, I would choose a bigger battery and medium fast charging over a smaller battery and super fast charging any day. And on the software side of things, we have MIUI 12 based on Android 10. Now, Poco is very vocal about how this is completely free of ads. That's a great thing. You get a really good experience. But so far in my experience, here are certain things I noticed. Quite a lot of bloatware. There are apps like Amazon, Facebook, WPS Office, LinkedIn, etc. And there are also some games like Tile Fun, Bubble, blah, 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 and so on. All of these apps can be uninstalled though. And the good thing is on MIUI 12, it just takes a few seconds to delete all the apps. You can do all of them at once. And one more thing, the default keyboard is Xiaomi's own keyboard. It's not Google keyboard. So that's one more thing you need to do manually. Change the keyboard to SwiftKey or Google keyboard, whatever your preference is. There are many first-party apps from Xiaomi like the Cleaner app and the Get Apps app. Now these are completely useless. What I don't understand here is they cannot be disabled. Why? Anyway, apart from these minor things, the experience has been good overall. This phone feels like fantastic value for money. Now, of course, I cannot give a verdict without using the phone for another 2 to 3 weeks at least. So what they've done, they've removed some less important stuff and they've included certain things that actually matter more to the consumers. You know, they've switched from glass to plastic, but think about it. Which phone has a glass back under 20,000 rupees? I don't think any brand does it anymore. So that's one thing. The phone is also heavy. You can count that as well. There's a minor downgrade in the camera section, 686 to 682 sensor. I'm not even sure if it's actually a downgrade, but still, they've removed the depth sensor, which is a huge downgrade. So these 4 things gone, fine. In exchange, look at what we've got. The latest chip, Snapdragon 732G, an upgraded 13 megapixel ultra-wide angle camera, 6000 mAh battery, 33 watt fast charging, IP53 certification, which is probably splash proof, and the most important of all, I kind of forgot to mention it in the video, stereo speakers. I didn't see the spec sheet properly, so I wasn't aware that this has stereo speakers. So when I started watching something on Netflix, I was like, how does this sound so good? Okay, wait. This has stereo speakers? Oh, it's something definitely worth appreciating Poco for. There's literally no other decent phone under 20,000 rupees with stereo speakers. So yes, they've taken certain things away, but the compensation has been done very well. And the cherry on top is the fact that the price is the same, 16,999. So in case you want to buy it, use the link in the description to make your purchase. It'll help me run the channel. That's pretty much it. Let me know if you liked this video. I know I kind of stuttered a bit in between. I have mouth ulcer. Not the one from one of the older videos. This is a new one, so I'm kind of struggling to talk. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Take care and bye.